Hello, and welcome back to DROD, the City Beneath. Spent quite a bit of time on the Forgotten Ruins. We've made it to the Frozen Depths. As Bithro descended deeper and deeper, he felt more and more confused. He had a feeling that he was no longer in Rooted Hold. This was not the Empire with its busy citizens and crazy laws. The building style resembled the Empire's style, but it was cruder and more primitive. Deep layers of dust covered the ground. The dungeons that he had spent most of his life exploring made sense. They were either built by surface rulers or were secret conduits from the Empire upwards. Often, he now knew, both. But where did these dungeons go? What lay below? Alright, well, in light of having already done Treacle's Stew, more gel challenges doesn't look too bad. We have a brain here. So if I do this... I need to clear that tile, so if I take advantage of brain movement to move that orthogonally, that was pretty simple. All the pressure plates do the same thing. Cannot start with a south move, okay. And from here... Alright, doesn't look too bad. Same deal, we can open everything. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work. Looks kind of bad. The tunnel's interesting because it's a tile that I can step on, but that they can't. I'm wondering if... wondering if my starting orientation, or sorry, the direction I pick is going to matter because of tie breaking. I don't think that only is going to matter if turn order becomes an issue. So the other thing I could do here. Okay, well that wasn't quite what I meant to do, but I was thinking of using this as a spot to run back and forth, but ended up not being necessary. Alright. So because they're brained, I can't actually get out of that situation, however, I can't cut that. This is a little bit troublesome. What if I give myself a nook here? That's possibly better. Okay. Got there just in time. That's one corner done. It's not quite doing what I wanted. Okay, I guess we'll do that again. Man, I really want to move south here, apparently. Okay. Well, let's just do this. Okay, that worked out nicely. There is a black door, so I'm having to be somewhat particular about how I do this. How do I get this last part? I'm just kind of going in circles if I do this. And that's gonna leave a bad spot. What if I did this? There we go. That was it. Alright, blue door already. More gel carving.
Hey, you there!
Huh?
You are trespassing according to Tar Authority Ordinance 420.5. No entry to gel storage areas is permitted, and no mention of the forbidden gel may ever be made.
No mention? You just told me about it.
Be that as it may, you have broken that law, and must now face the strictest of penalties I have to offer.
Oh?
Yes, indeed. This penalty has two parts, each of dire importance. First, I hereforth use my authority as a duly appointed representative of the Tar Authority to officially censure you. Second, I shall, henceforth and hereafter, ignore you completely, offer you no assistance, and indeed act like you are not there at all. I hope you are suitably chastised.
That's it? Guess so.
So gel is forbidden. I guess this is just a reminder that gel isn't always brained. Cause it to do some funny stuff. So if I cut here, that's a nice flat edge there, which would be nice if this was tar, but it's not so nice for gel. So let's carve into it a little bit. See, if I do that, that gets me a nice... Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that, but I think this will work out. So if I do that, it's bad, but I can cut this first. And this should give me more than enough space to maneuver to get away. Okay. Yeah, and being censured by the Tar Authority, I'm not entirely sure what that entails. But as for Slayer, I don't imagine that's going to interfere with my duties that much. This room is randomly very loud. Okay. This is about eating gel with an adder. Okay. Now you're on horizontal, which is fine. But you are going to release babies periodically, which is a little bit of a problem. But you're also going to automatically be faster than any of the babies that you produce. Okay. Now you're on horizontal. Okay, so you're not going to quite do what I wanted. You're not going to do what I wanted here either. Although I think... because now you'll be on horizontal. Okay, you got that. Drink on your own tail. Still on horizontal. Take advantage of the adder movement rules. So on vertical. Let's just eat you. Okay. Darn it, get in there. No? Okay. That wasn't too bad. That room was probably very difficult the first time I played this because I didn't know how snake movement worked at that time. I think I mentioned this before, but I learned snake movement in... is it the Forbidden Zone? No, I can't remember what its name is. I really need to replay the Second Sky. It was a Second Sky level. It's the one that looks like a desert and you have all the Force Arrows. It's like the late game Force Arrow themed level.
What's this? I can't get down the stairs by myself. Better go see if I can find someone to help me out here.
Right, okay. Well, that's pretty obvious. Find 5 people. Or 5 objects that can weigh down pressure plates, or whatever. That's a lot of gel. And this is just a time limit to get to the end. Oh, I think this is the secret room I was thinking was in the archipelago. The Razorus archipelago. Which means I didn't miss it. Excellent. Okay, so this is just a race, because once the gel gets to here, I'm not able to use my body to make it cuttable anymore. Alright. Let's do more efficient killing where possible. Problem with gel is that the way it catches on itself makes it a little bit awkward sometimes. I think we'll just keep doing this kind of motion. It's not too bad. Because I'm killing 5 every 6 turns. Which is pretty efficient. I'm not going to find a lot of repeatable setups that'll give me that kind of efficiency. And this is an efficiency room, because the trapdoor, the checkpoint on it, ensures that I fully clear all the gel. Oh, I'm just gonna keep running backwards because I get a lot of kills in that way. Yeah, doing that kind of thing isn't good. But what I was doing before with, like this, for example, is fine. And each time I go down a tile, I get another row of gel babies dealt with. But then I get to a point where I have to be really inefficient. Well, I'd say things are going decently well. Unfortunately, I do have to come all the way up here because of you. Lots of time. Alright, we want to leave it as with a 4 wide, it's most efficient to cut it into sections of 2. I guess we just want to sit here. It's going to grow to maintain the 2. Timing wasn't great. Okay, we'll back up. Definitely making headway here. I don't need to worry about a black gate. I'm going to assume that it's not possible to traverse from here this way. So I'm just thinking, if I'd left a gel baby alive, I could start at this entrance. I wouldn't have this door open. Well, we'll see when we're done the secret.
Hello, comrades.
Hello, Grayskin partner. It's good see you. We batch some gel stuff for you. You can smuggle it to surface now.
Just be careful. If the aumtlich catch us, they'll kill us.
And that's why we partner you, humanly friend. You're smarter than goblins that not you get some caught, like poor Gingball. Hawk, go you show him rest of gel.
Okay, I'll be back later to load the barge.
Not a very big barge. Or maybe the raft is.
Stir some aumtlich
Maybe the raft is just the way you get from the barge to the island.
Get some blame, but greenbacks get some profit.
Guess that first fella doesn't know much about goblins. There's never a good time to turn your back on them.
Yeah, okay. So that was what I thought. And okay. Even with... Well, hold on. If I make that stab, like the eyes were here, right? Actually. This is what the room looks like. Okay, no, they're there. So I cannot make it through the gel. The other possibility was that this was going to be impossible if there were gel babies on both of these, but they're not. So I'd be able to step here and here diagonally. And then swing. So this would be clearable starting from here if you could get through this gel, but you can't. Okay. Which, I mean, that would be a pretty significant break and a pretty trivial high score, so it's good that that is not an option. This is way easier than the aumtlich level. Now, did I just curse myself with this room? I don't think so. What's going on here is I have to drop all the trapdoors, and then I go around killing all the gel babies. But if the gel babies go through too often, then we have problems, which means that there's a limited number of turns I can spend in each row and or column. But I have to step on every turn. So doesn't this just mean I have to spend... Yeah, if this one gets caught, it doesn't matter. Like, I have to watch out for stuff like this, because if I do that, and it switches rows, that's a problem. But as long as it's not switching rows, I don't think this causes any problems at all. I'll still be able to go down once more, which will get it to here, up once more, which gets it onto the arrow, and it's fine. So as long as... As long as nobody switches columns, which they won't here. So you will, that's a potential issue. You also doing that is a potential issue. We can't wait, so I guess we go south here. I mean, I can move diagonally as well. Need to. Okay, and now you're stuck on that corner, so it's fine. I've defused that trap. Okay, you are no longer an issue because you will move south, so no more traps here. You're both dealt with. I guess you can go back up, but as long as I'm just going down, I don't think there's any possible issue here. I'm going slowly to make sure nothing unexpected happens. But I don't see any issues here. Yeah. No, this room is actually pretty easy. It looked like it, it's an intimidating room. But actually pretty simple. Once you try to play it out. more water. I guess we're starting from up here. This is just a room about gel cuttability, I guess. Showing that, you know, this kind of situation, obviously we can cut into that, but then, well, we need to do a little bit of work to get through. Of course, that is a loss. We can cut both of these. I don't know if that cut I just made is necessary. If I was being more efficient, I guess I would have made that cut first. There we go. Okay, that's pretty simple. So this is just the same trick over and over. It's like, go somewhere else in order to get the gel babies into a position that you can fight them. Okay, I had a feeling something like that was going to end up happening. And is this possible? Yes, easily. Okay. Another easy room. Weird. Alright, and now we can go past the blue door. And this is where we get to meet stalwarts for the first time.
Hi! Is that the Delver from the battle? Pietro?
Yeah, it's me. I thought the aumtlich fried up all you stalwarts.
No, they captured some of us. Our training never prepared us for this kind of torture. Please, let me out of here. We're all willing to help out in any way we can. We just want to get home.
Great. I got this door blocking my path. Need it open.
Alright, so collect the 5 stalwarts and we can go on to the next level. So this room... Well, if I blow up a bomb, then the stalwart dies. I want to test something real quick. Blowing up the stalwart does not result in loss. Okay, I was just making sure he wasn't a critical NPC. But I guess he'd have to be a special scripted character for that to be the case. So we can have the stalwart die. However, this mechanism ensures that only the fecundo can kill that gel baby. And we need something to kill this, which is going to have to be the stalwart. Okay. So... well... I've lost here because I'm going to blow up automatically, so I guess we turn. And this is going to continue being awkward until we kill that gel mother. That's interesting. So it's closer to the stalwart than to me, so the stalwart gets his attention. It's fine. Okay, that's one down. Let's just go in here for now. Looking at this, I think I actually have to avoid blowing up any bombs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Do something like that, which is fine. Can't go across the arrow because there's no way to fly back. Yeah, so this is the only way to get through here. Alright, there we go. No more growth. This is a problem. This got awkward because there we go. Because I can't let the Facundo blow up on the bombs. And I do have to take out all of the gel. Which means that I'm forced to do this. Now I could also just use the Facundo to deal with those. Might be a little bit inefficient. Guess I want to go around this way. Okay, we managed to survive. Okay, as long as I stay over here, I shouldn't have to worry about Jello babies causing me any more trouble. We are gonna kill those. Take a little bit of time to clear out some of these gel babies. Alright, let's hope that the stalwart is clever enough to do this. Yeah.
Thanks again, Bithro. The rest of my comrades are in there. I'll see you at the stairs down.
Alright, thank you for your help. Alright, so I see a stalwart, and I see 3 more rooms. Probably where the other 3 stalwarts are. So I need to release the stalwart. I'm guessing that this room is just to demonstrate how stalwarts and aumtlich interact.
Revenge is mine.
Just to say, in interesting ways. Okay, we've released you. I don't know if I wanted you up here. Maybe. We got their attention. Okay, that's 1 down. So the thing about a stalwart is that he's just gonna rotate clockwise every single turn while he's stuck on an aumtlich beam. Yeah, okay, if that happens, I don't think there's any way I can deal with it because it will always be closer. Well, I can do this, okay. Because 2 orthogonal spaces is closer than 2 diagonal spaces. Okay, well now I'm just stuck. But no longer. Okay, well don't step there. Okay, how's this gonna go? That's fine. Okay, we'll just freeze you in place. In fact, if I do this, yeah, guarantee that I'm closer, so you shouldn't do anything. Takes some of the guesswork out of things.
Go on, head for the stairwell. I'll get the rest of your buddies.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Alright, for a room about stalwart and aumtlich, that was not nearly as painful as it could have been. Alright, you're just in a cell. Oh no. This is everybody's favorite, the Keep a Stalwart Alive puzzle. Well, I can kill all the roaches on the outside before we start. Do I want to? I don't know, but I'm gonna do it. Because fewer moving parts means less ways for the stalwart to die. So now, if I release everything, probably the stalwart's gonna die. Your target... Oh, it even shows the path. Oh right, I'm on the updated, the recent DROD update. Which shows paths for this, I think for health as well. I don't think it did that before. And... So, looking at this, the things that I can control... I don't want to step into the central room, because I need to kill this. There's actually no way out for the stalwart until this door comes down. Which means that we need this serpent to die before the stalwart does anything like that. And of course, the stalwart is just going to try to stab it. Wait. Oh, I see. What are you trying to stab? Trying to stab the tail. So you stab the tail. You're trying to stab the head. Okay, let's just keep that path selected, because this is interesting. Okay, well, we've managed to get you killed by a goblin. That was predictable. And I don't think releasing the goblin at a different time would do any good there. So the thing that we could do differently is drag the goblin around to a different entrance. Like so. Which doesn't do anything because you're afraid of the stalwart's sword. Okay, well what if we try the other one? This is probably a lost state. I think I need to use roaches to manipulate the goblin. Yeah, because now you're just going to run away. So yeah, this was the only way this was going to work. Okay. Well. A much simpler way of doing things than trying to manipulate the stalwart is to keep one of you alive. There, I think that's a good spot. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. What happened there? Okay, turn order is what happened there. Alright, so now if I do this... Okay, well I've separated the goblin. I didn't want to get the goblin out of there, though. Okay, well if I get... goblin in there, that's fine. Maybe. Okay, that gets you past the door. Does this kill the serpent? Yes, okay. Now, can you kill the goblin? Probably not. Okay, and from that position, you will never be able to get out because you're too close. Okay, so let's try this again, but this time without getting that roach out, or without getting the goblin out. Well, I could just try going around this way. Okay, we got the roach out. I guess because I waited a little bit, the goblin's behaving better this time around. Alright. So is this gonna work any better? No. Can't get the goblin out at all. Okay, so I have to get the goblin out. Is it just a matter of one of the 4 rooms being the solution? Based on what I understand of stalwart movement, I feel like the goblin is going to win a one-on-one fight pretty much no matter what I do. But I'm assuming that the room isn't going to be designed around that, so maybe... Yeah, it took too long because I hesitated. If I rushed right there, I can get you out. Good. Okay, we'll try this room. Because once the goblin's there, I can't do anything about it. How's this gonna look? This is just gonna result in death. Okay. Well, we got one more room we can try, and then I guess the other thing to do is to never let the goblin get into the center. Okay. Okay, we've got the roach out. Okay, that worked the way I wanted it to. Okay, we're gonna hold you in this corner because I feel like this is where you might have the best chance. There we go. Not too bad. Just had to think a little bit. Very much the type of room. There's enough chaos in this room that this could have been really, really bad. But fortunately, there was a relatively simple and controlled way to get the stalwart to do what I wanted. And apparently this stalwart doesn't have anything to say.
Quick! Break that tar and kill the tar mother.
But I don't know how. I'm not a delver like you.
Ah, okay. Better get ready to fend off some tar babies then.
Clear the northern half first. Well, the very first thing that we do is we wait until turn 30. And look at what happens. Horrible death. Okay.
Quick! Break that...
So it says to kill the north first. So is... Am I correct then in assuming that you'll be able to fend off one side on your own? It looks like you can. Okay. But I'm under a time limit here. There's no rain in this room. That's good. Okay. That's the north finished. However... Oh. I didn't hit the orb. Is this okay? Okay, I didn't want to do that. Guess we'll just clear out the tar first. So that seems relatively stable. It's just a matter of whether I'm able to do the rest of the room in this state. I might not be. Okay. I mean, I can go around to the other side. Just trying to manipulate him so his sword is somewhere else so I could stab here, but I can already see this isn't a cuttable shape. Which means... well, that's also going to kill him. Okay, we'll keep you here. Thing is, if you move forward, you're just gonna die when something spawns behind you. Yeah, well, we can do that to move you forward again. Now we need to turn you around. Okay. Let's get you further ahead. I think we salvaged this. Okay, you're just gonna do that, so let's just wait here. And this is cuttable because it grew. You watched my back. Challenge completed. The Steam achievement didn't pop. Oh. Okay, I guess it was just delayed to the server or something. It was northern half first. Alright, and again, nothing to say. That was kind of weird.
Who's there? Please, don't let any of them out.
You want out of there? You gotta fight your way out, my friend. Don't worry. We'll get through this.
Oh, stalwarts are supposed to be courageous. What is this cowardice? Alright, so this is just a silly room about releasing enemies.
Whoops. Now, how am I gonna get out of here?
Okay, well that is not the answer. Okay. Those aumtlich, yeah, those aumtlich are gonna be trouble. Now that I have access to these back, well, let's just see if this works. It did, we got rid of an aumtlich, okay. I'm just gonna trial and error this. Oh, this is actually potentially a problem, because you're gonna do that. Okay, evil eyes are trouble. And the golems are also trouble for the same kind of reason. How am I gonna deal with these evil eyes?
Whoops. Now.
I know I can hit multiple things simultaneously. This is just going to be annoying. Okay, so now if I look at these... Nope, you're going to prefer orthogonal moves and get yourself killed because you're not going to step into that row. Okay, well I can use the... I can use these to lure you over. Okay. So now if I do this... You safely dealt with that. Are you in a good position for this? Nope, the road is too close.
Whoops.
Turn, face the wrong way. If I do this, you're not gonna get yourself killed. Okay, I don't know how to explain why that worked. Stalwarts are just doing stalwart things. Okay, now that we're over here, now's the time to hit this. Okay, now let's hit this. Good.
I'm alive. Thank you, sir.
Alright, so a little bit of trial and error there. Kind of annoying, but there are a couple of interesting observations to make. Those evil eyes, I think it was because his sword was facing away when he started moving towards them, so he didn't end up moving in the same... I don't know. I don't know how to explain how that part worked. I'm not entirely sure I understand it. But the consideration with the golems and the wraithwings, for example, was actually kind of interesting. The aumtlich was also not too bad because it was more of a positional puzzle, making sure that you're at a good angle, which is something you have control over. And of course, if you wanted to optimize this, this would be utter chaos. Yeah, 56th place ties. You can see that was not optimized. As far as stalwart puzzles go, those weren't too terrible. It's one of those elements that can be used in terrible ways, but because the first hold that I really played through was Gunthrow and the Epic Blunder, where soldiers, which are basically stalwarts, pretty much the same thing, friendly sword-bearing NPC character, they're used in a fantastic way in Gunthrow and the Epic Blunder, and so I've always sort of had a fondness for them just because I had that positive first impression.
Alright, let's do this.
Stalwarts, attention!
Thanks. I'm going further down. I think you want to go some other way to get back to the surface.
Yes, sir.
Alright. And this is kind of neat. I do like the, like, it's very simple, the way that this is set up. Just find the 5 stalwarts and then you can unlock the door. But it's a much more interesting thing than to do than to just put the blue gate here and call it a day. So I like things like this. This is a nice touch. Alright, and we get to go down the stairs to another level. I will see you next time for that.